And 5, 4, 3, 2. What up, y'all? Welcome to Here's the Thing. I'm Kevin on stage. She's
that chick Angel.
Welcome to another podcast episode. Set the notification bell. Welcome to the bonus. We got a lot of things to get through. First off, we got to shout out Angel's daughter, her namesake, Angel Reese.
Period.
And the Rose Basketball Club, the first winners of the Unrivaled thing. Unrivaled.
Yeah.
Angel was Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, of course she was.
Unrivaled, I believe Chelsea Gray was Finals MVP. I think Angel might have got hurt. I don't think she played in the last game.
That sounds about right.
But shout out to Angel. I think the best thing she did for herself. Somebody was like, "What is niggas and white men?" Angel Reese, how you feel about her? Tell me a lot about stuff. Like if her personality offends you, or if your whole Twitter handle is to dog her out, it's gonna be hard for me to be cool with you. I think.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying you can't criticize her, but niggas' whole account be Angel Reese hate. But anyway. Crazy. I think the Unrivaled is a great way for WNBA players to spend their off season. I think Angel working with Lisa Leslie.
That's so great.
I think Lisa Leslie, one of the greatest WNBA players of all time.
And she still look good.
She still looks great. I don't know why she's not coaching, but Angel's going to be better this season. Now, the Fever, they might be championship contenders.
Well, they got the girl, Caitlin. Is that her name?
They got Caitlin.
And then they got our friend.
They got a glue player, Sydney Colson.
Sydney, because I was about to say Courtney Colson.
Yeah, they got DeWanna Bonner. They re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. They got what they needed to get. Unfortunately, if you're not a Fever fan, they got better. And Caitlin, I'm sure, even though she didn't play in Unrivaled, I don't doubt she wasn't working on her game.
Oh, of course.
I believe she probably gonna be in MVP contention more this year than she was even last year.
Did she get Rookie of the Year?
She got Rookie of the Year, and I think she was first team All WNBA.
How tall that baby?
6'1" maybe. Yeah.
And did the women play in the Olympics?
Yeah.
Did they play in it?
Yeah, they played. Caitlin didn't make the team though. Remember that was a whole big thing? She should have played over Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, I remember.
She gonna be on the Olympic team, I would imagine, the next 3 times.
You know, I have so many sports facts in my head. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah.
But anyway, just want to shout out Angel Reese, who has gotten better this offseason. Shout out them. All right. First thing I want to talk about with my friend Angel. Dawn Robinson of En Vogue revealed that she is actually
living in her car.
Currently living in her car. I haven't talked to Angel at all about this. So Angel, I'm curious, what are your thoughts?
Let me tell you, I was listening, and apparently, because I watched the clips that were linked on X, but apparently there was a lot of the video I missed. But the thing that, hush, DGI, I'm trying to figure this out. The thing that was the most astounding to me is how good her skin and hair and nails look to be living in whatever Nissan she's in. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see the video? Her skin looked like she must have a spa inside of that car trunk, because the people I know that live in cars look like they live in cars.
Yeah.
Her silk press
was pressing.
She put that in the cigarette lighter and was in there before the thing. Even her nails were painted. I said,
she said, I'm living in my car. Don't mean I ain't clean.
Very clean. Am I surprised that she's living in her car? Not really. Meaning the way life be going when you are an entertainer. The ups and the downs be so goddamn drastic for some people. And I ain't seen Dawn do nothing in, I think R&B Divas was the last time she was, or Queens of R&B or whatever the heck it was called. I ain't seen her do nothing else.
Listen, that was my first thought, and I see some comments saying, "Isn't it by choice?" I think I don't.
She said in the video it wasn't. That's what she said in the video. Now there's other people who have said, "No, Dawn could be living somewhere. She's just, her ego is too bad." She said, "I would love." She said in the clip of the video that I saw, because it was broken up again on X, I would love to be in an apartment. Like, trust, if I could, I would be. So I'm not sure what makes it a cannot versus a could.
Yeah, it seems like she had some beef with her parents.
Yeah, she did.
Her family, and then her manager, I believe she was talking about,
Her
was
former manager.
Former manager was trying to get her apartment, and that didn't work.
She said every time she'd find an apartment, he'd be like, "No, don't live on that side of town." Blah blah blah. I just can't believe her manager was paying for her hotel.
I thought that was interesting too.
But let me tell you, my manager loved me. He gonna be like, "Go back home to your mama." Go back home and figure this out, okay? Because I'm not your dad. I said, what type of manager is that? Do you have a current manager?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I got nobody, no agent, no manager, just
you out here raw dog in the industry. You just out here. Here, y'all take this. Take me over here.
Oh my God, raw dog in the industry is crazy.
That's what you're doing. That is exactly what you're doing.
Some people on the Patreon said she said in another video that she is doing it by choice. So maybe she is, maybe she isn't, but she's living in her car. And listen, let me tell you what. A lot of people would be homeless if a lot of people are categorically homeless, like living with family, living in their cars. I grew up thinking homeless is just like you live on the street. But apparently, by definition, if you are not footing the bill somehow for your own living situation, whether you're couch surfing.
So our kids are homeless.
Kids are
because they ain't footing a damn thing.
I saw this thing on Scott Evans. He was talking with Tika Sumter. He said, if your kid, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Quick aside, we'll get back to Dawn. If your kids are working a job, do you make them contribute? Would you make them contribute to the bills?
If I were broke, yes, but
I
no.
mean, you as an Angel now.
No, absolutely. No. I would like for my kids when they do leave to have something saved up that they worked for to use and to possibly add to whatever the hell else I'm giving them as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I got enough money to foot my own bills. I don't need I bust a nut to make them. They did not ask for me to do that.
Why did you start saying that?
Because there was a podcast we were watching. I think it was Lip Service? It was some podcast with women. They were talking about this dude who says he don't be busting a nut when he got to perform or something.
Was it Joy Badass?
Maybe.
Yes.
And she was like, so you don't bust a nut? You don't bust a nut? And I was like, why does she keep saying that? Why bust a nut? Bust a nut? And I was like, that's it right there. Bust a nut. Anyways, no. I maybe if they were grown, I'd be like, just give me some money because I want it because you got on my nerves. But not like I
19.
Yeah, I plan on making little Marcus get a job this summer, and I want him to save up that money for himself. I don't want him to put it towards any of the like necessities in the house.
I think traditionally Black families have had to do that because we struggling.
Yeah,
and if you are able and willing. It's just like people who own farms. Them kids was working on that farm. You live here, you go milk them cows and drive that tractor. That's why kids on the farm can drive cars all the time.
Well, putting in work in the house, that's different. Giving me money is a whole nother thing.
You right. Josh was fixing the camera's radiant, Jay. So back
what
to
about you? No, you answer.
Not in high school, not in college. Not after college, not ever.
Exactly.
I don't care if my children stay with me till they're 48.
I know.
I won't go give you a kiss on your forehead. I don't care what people say about you. It's safe here.
Yeah.
I would love to be how Will Smith have compounds. I would hope to be able to have a house and land so big. You build a house right on, I'm not going to visit you. You come visit, not visit you.
I remember.
Why y'all got to leave? Why everybody got to go somewhere all the time?
I can come and see my grandbaby.
Come on, have a little sex. Have a little baby. Get married and come right and live over here. Why people need to move?
I remember when little Marcus was little, he asked me what marriage was. And I was explaining, I was like, it's when mommy picks a wife for you and then you go and you all get a house and you make a family. And then a little bit later, I look in the rearview mirror and I see he's like, tears are coming down his face. And I said, what's wrong? He said, well, I don't want to have to leave you. I said, let me get this. Let me tell you right now, you ain't never got to leave me, okay?
Yes, I want your wife to yell, and you wouldn't be nothing without your dad. It would be like, she ain't wrong. But still, y'all come in here and get something to eat.
Right.
This meatloaf is done. She gonna get that point in the argument every time.
Yeah.
Your daddy is the one gave you the job. She right again, son. Y'all want some of this baked chicken? We got baked chicken on the oven.
Yeah, I said, now I don't care what the world may ever say. You ain't never got to leave me. Mm-mm. He was like, okay. I said, I'm just saying, if you want to go somewhere and make a family, you can. Or you could just stay here.
Yes. Did you see this random, but you thought about being an in-law? And it's this girl on TikTok said the main reason she started working out is because she realized her son going to be losing the argument and the girl going to be like, F you and your fat mama. And she'll be like, that about me and you ain't wrong.
You ain't wrong. I am the fat mama.
Listen, I was talking to JoJo the other day and that baby said he was curling 40s.
I know, I saw the video and he was legit curling 40s, Kevin.
1,000%. I wasn't even curling 40s at that time. When he told me about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I've seen your pictures back in the day. I believe it.
I ain't never had big arms. I ain't never had big arms. That head been solid as a rock. I do. My arm's not big.
Well, the mics are not heavy. You don't need a strong arm to say, what's up, Tacoma?
And I don't need a strong arm to write that check.
Come on.
As long as I can do this.
Boom, boom, boom. You said the things that matter, I
can do that. No, I ain't doing no strongman competition.
You said, okay. For what?
For what? But anyway, the whole Don Robinson thing made me realize, like, me and I think other people in the world, my concept of how famous you were when you were famous, like In Vogue, I remember when they were releasing music. What it's going up? What's it gonna be? 'Cause I
can't pretend.
Like, as big as they were, in my mind, they should be filthy rich forever.
Well, what we know about the music industry, that is the one industry that I'm like, yeah, I can believe everybody who had a hit is broke and on food stamps.
Sister.
Because they were like, you're going to make this hit, you're going to go on tour, and here are some Jolly Ranchers for your time. Suck on those and go home and be poor.
They paid you for that tour money, and then they in a group, right? So
they split in the Jolly Rancher.
A lot of times, I'm not speaking specifically on In Vogue at this time, but musicians don't own their masters. They don't own their publishing. I remember I got in trouble for using a Carl Thomas song. Not in trouble, but they reached out to us on Churchy. We did not play the song. Me and Mark just
sang a little bit. That's
sang a little bit, and their lawyer reached out, and we did not. When we had to pay to license that song, Carl Thomas' name was not on there. You pay the publishing company and the writer of that song. So oftentimes the people who write and own the publishing on the company, on the songs, those companies and people, they make the money. That's not often the artist. Like the Whitney Houston movie, she was like, she didn't write all her songs. She didn't write a lot of her songs. Yeah. So she gets the performance fee, but taxes come out of that. But that residual income, the stuff that sustains you when you're not selling as much, because no artist continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger indefinitely. Yeah. Right? You gonna go big and then you gonna come back down. That's why I want to listen. I want to go as high as I can go, but eventually you come back down, right? And the hope is that you just make enough residual income to pay your bills, or you can still work. Correct. So I don't believe she's in the group. I'm not sure what happened.
She's not. She hasn't been in Vogue for a long time. Lucy Pearl doesn't exist anymore. And Don, as a solo artist, never really went anywhere.
Yeah,
really
and I don't think even if In Vogue, she was in Vogue. I don't know if they're like touring crazy like that. Yeah, it would be some income.
Oh, I'm sure In Vogue is actually making great income because those groups, those 90s groups, their audience now has a lot of disposable income. True. Us 40, 50-year-olds, we gonna go to a concert. We gonna get the and they put seats in these concerts.
Listen,
there's no standing room only. Where is my fold-up chair? Where is row AA seat 5? We gonna sit down.
I was watching this young TikToker. I think his name is Connor White. Dude, he had a really creative video, and he was having a music show. And they cut to that crowd, and they were standing up. I said, "Brother, I could not. I can't. There's no way I'm finna stand up for an hour and a half."
That's the only thing I disliked about the Victoria Monet concert.
It was standing up.
If you were on the floor, yes. If you were in the balcony, there were seats, and the balcony sold out before I could get seats. So I was standing with the peoples, and I said, all right.
When Toby came to LA the first couple times, I said, brother.
I was going to go that first time, and I said, wait a minute, is this standing? I said, I not come.
I wouldn't stand for nobody.
Where's she going to be on the 28th? Do you know? Know which venue?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand for Beyonce. I wouldn't stand for Stevie Wonder. I wouldn't stand up to see Kevin Fredericks. I can't stand for no hour, no half.
Well, yeah, my standing for Beyonce is now no longer a part of my life.
No, I can stand up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to sit down.
That's why we're doing the sweet life. Because I said, you know what? That down there is for the standers, and I'm no longer a stander. I want to sit down. Because even if you don't have front row seats, even if you have a seat, the people in front of you are standing in your way.
And I don't even like, when it be feeling like a mosh pit, I don't like,
I used to be in the mosh pit, but I would be up closest to the stage. The little gay men would be right there behind me like little backpacks. They'd be right up, pressed up on me. I'd be like, that's fine, because I'm not moving. They would be right up on me. I said, it's fine. Come on, little Javier. Come on, Sam.
All right, let's move on. This podcast clip went viral. It's about prenups. I want y'all to listen if you haven't heard it.
Let's get there. So 100% feed. I wouldn't even consider a prenup. She might have more money than me too, so I don't really. Might need to go the opposite way.
Joe? Absolutely. Sorry.
No doubt about it. Like way more.
I have kids. Whatever we get together, it's different. Whatever I have from before belongs to my kids. I mean, respectfully, that's just the way it is. Same. I don't expect anything from you either. You know that. Never did.
Wait.
Keno was like,
What the fuck she talking about?
Keno put his hand on her knee. He said, no.
No.
That's not how it's going.
No. What do you mean from before?
What do you mean? I have children. I was married before, so there's assets and things I have from before.
That he can't eat off of.
That he
can't touch, look
he can't.
at,
He won't be able to get.
sniff as a black man, any of that.
It has nothing to do with any of that, by the way.
But he can't even look that way. Don't think about it.
I agree.
Because it belongs to my kids.
But there are things where if I need it.
What?
She had a tough spot.
I mean,
No, but if I need it, it's there.
Then don't.
Yes, obviously.
No. I mean, it's there. Yes, but no.
Yeah, but it's her discretion.
No.
he's rethinking
He just found that out. He did.
So apparently, I'm not sure. This is Joe Budden as one of the people speaking. I'm not sure of this podcast. It doesn't look like the Joe Budden podcast. It looks like three couples. It seems like this gentleman is finding this information out in real time.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently they're not married. I've read somewhere that they're not married. Let me tell you what. I believe there's certain conversations you should have first. If y'all don't have that information already, finding out that you ain't gonna get none of my money, like, well, you know, of course, if I needed it, she's like, of course you wouldn't have access to it. Of course you would not. I would not. No, you wouldn't. This is for my kids.
It's for my children. I don't understand why he thought he was gonna plead his case on the show. You just pretend like, yeah, that makes so much sense. That she should take care of kids. Then on the car ride home, now come on now. Leave something for me, Sheila. Now listen. You know how you white, so y'all be dying of a lot of stuff that's weird. Okay? So put a little bit on them. Put a little bit on my books.
Oh my God.
He was so like, don't be over there pleading your case with me. But if I need it.
But she was no. Of course it's gonna go to my kids.
Right.
She was looking like, y'all, please do not ask me this because my answer is not his answer.
It's not his answer. And I understand. Listen, in our trust, if I were to go first, and if Marcus were to fall and bump his head and remarry, let me tell you who ain't seeing a fucking dime is that woman. Now, because our trust has been created while our children are very young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to consider the fact that he would still be their primary caretaker. So he has to have access to take care of them.
Yeah.
But don't nobody else get to touch of that money. And I only made kids with him. She made kids with somebody else. So she's like, I can't.
She might make kids with him though.
She might, but she's like, the kids that I do have currently, I'm not about to leave them high and dry just in case you become stupid.
Right.
And you spend up all no. The money not for you.
You ain't
have
gonna
a
be
job.
dead no more. You gonna come back alive just to clear some things up.
Listen, you're not about to you're not about to touch what is actually meant for my legacy. When you are still alive and can work.
Did you see Journey Smollett's ex-husband wanted some of her money from her career from even when she was on the Cosby Show? I mean, not Cosby Show. She was on Full House, I believe.
Why did he want some of that?
He might have been her manager. I'm not fully
Was it 'cause-
abreast on it.
Is it her residuals? Was he
Her
already
residuals, yeah. But the people was like, brother, she didn't even know
that
y'all
dude.
together.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you what, I was gonna make a yap about this.
Yeah.
Men who cheat, or people who cheat, I'm gonna just say men because I'm a man, they think just coochie and butt sweat is all there is. And there's more to relationships than coochie sweat and butt sweat and nut and semen and vaginal fluid.
Oh, okay.
Okay? There's prenups and post-nups and inside jokes and something as simple as knowing your Chipotle order. Okay? If I ask Melissa, or she asked me, hey, I'm going by Chipotle, do you want something? If I say yes, she does not have to ask me what's in my bowl. We know each other's Chipotle order. I know her order. I know my son's orders. I don't want to have to tell somebody else my Chipotle order.
Now listen, that's important, Kevin.
Anywhere my wife goes to get me something to eat or I get her something to eat, if you say Chick-fil-A, I know what her drink is. I know what her nuggets is, her sauce is. I know her social security number. Important things.
Yeah.
And I hold those in high regard.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A sauce, her social.
And they are the same.
They are both very important pieces of information. I can't imagine having to tell somebody else my social or let them know it. Or my Chipotle order, I might cry. Like, you want some Chipotle, and she's like, what's in your bowl? I'll be like, this ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
You don't love me.
You don't even know my Chipotle order?
Yeah, no.
And then what if she gets pico de gallo? Well, she gets 2 scoops. I'm gonna be like, that's crazy.
Listen, my kids and I share the same last name. Nigga, you ain't never coming in to that. You not about to break that up just because you the one possibly dicking me down later on in life. That's not enough.
Not enough.
Them are the Tanksley boys. I'm Mama Tanksley.
Tanksley
they getting
pride.
this money. They getting this money.
They getting that money.
You remember when Mufasa showed up to the land? Did you see the Mufasa the movie?
I avoid live action animal movies.
This was actually so much better than that first one. This was good. But
I boycott them, and I like Barry Jenkins, but I gotta make a stand.
So Mufasa showed up to the place that his mama had described when he was a boy because he got lost. I really wanted a brother. That was a line from another tribe that he ended up, or pride that he ended up joining.
Okay.
Then later on in life, he found the place that his biological mama had always talked about, and guess what? That baby was there. The mama was there. You see how that?
Yes.
Daddy dead. Don't know where the daddy went to.
Mufasa dad with dad?
Gone. Okay.
We ain't gonna be with him?
He went on.
Pride Rock in the Sky?
Pride Rock in the Sky, but his mama, Shaka Khan, whatever her name was. She was there.
But I love that.
And they knew each other. See, that's what I mean.
Huh? Clickety, Angel.
The inherit. She could have went and got herself another nigga lion, but she didn't.
Another nigga lion.
She said, oh, this land here is for my baby to rule. Come on, get up on the rock, Mufasa. And he want to be a new nigga lion and run the pride and run the money. No, I'm like Mufasa's mama. When my baby show up, this is his. These men is crazy. He was really like, but if I need it, why you need it?
Why? My question is, why do you need what is very? No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I want him to say this out loud. Why do you need access to the money she made prior to y'all that is specifically reserved for her children?
And he didn't even know if the money existed. He said she probably got more money than me.
And once he found out he existed, then I should have it.
And it's only because he only knows that because he don't have no money. That's how he knew automatically. So he said, well, the money I have is for my kids. Well, if I need it, wait a minute. It might only be $50. He's like, yeah, that's a lot. You know how much?
Might be getting bigger like a cheese.
Listen, I could get so many Black and Miles with the $50. A Swisher Sweet? Come on now. Let me hold it, Sheila. Let me hold the $50.
Is her name Sheila?
No.
Okay.
I'd usually do a Sheila or a Sharon. The shit names are just so fun for improv for some reason.
Really?
To me.
You gonna do that at the show tonight?
I don't know what I'm gonna do because I didn't go to the tech, but I'm gonna have a good time.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Now I wanted to talk about this, and I was going to talk about it on Twitter, but let me tell you why I didn't. And I'm actually proud of myself. I realized this is why you don't want to talk about things on Twitter.
Oh.
I realized when you argue with someone on the internet, okay, there is almost a 0.0% chance that you are ever going to make a point that makes somebody be like, you know what, I was wrong. You were right. I concede this point. I have not seen that happen.
You haven't?
I've seen people change their argument, switch the goalposts, dig in.
Yeah.
But when I argue, I'm often like, oh, dang, good point. Okay, my bad. So this tweet had went viral. So what it was an Indian woman, and she was dancing. And I don't know the type of dance it was, but it looked like she hit a little whine. Amen. And a black person was like, you know, basically something along the lines of like, I'm today years old. I didn't realize there was Indian, Caribbean people, right? And it kicked off a little diaspora war. I used to pronounce diaspora in my head because I read the word way more than I ever said it. And then I was in a class and somebody said diaspora. I said, oh, well,
Look at that.
because it could have went diaspora. It's like biopic.
Or biopic.
It could be What is the right one? Biopic or biopic?
Biopic.
If it's a movie, it's talking about the movie.
Biopic.
I thought it was biopic, like a biopicture. Biopic.
Biopic.
It's biopic. See, again.
Biopic.
So anyway, this girl with a Trinidad flag in her bio said, Black Americans now finding out about Indo-Caribbean people is just, I think this is like the slidey, melty, more like a melty emoji, you know? Y'all really been hoodwinked by that joke of an education system. So I really thought about that because I ain't gonna hold you, Angel. You're my friend and so is Josh. I did not know about Indo-Caribbean people either. Now, I've only been to the Caribbean maybe 3 or 4 times. I've been to the Bahamas.
Always in the Caribbean.
Actually, I've been to the Bahamas 3 or 4 times alone.
Right.
I've been to Jamaica a couple times, but I never visited Trinidad. The few times that I've been in the Caribbean islands, I have not seen any Indo-Caribbean people. I've also been vacationing, staying in touristy spots. So like I nerd out, Angel. I do my research. Turns out there was a lot of Indian immigrants or migrants, Indian indentured servants in the 1800s, right? And they brought with them curry, okay? And that's how you get curry goat, curry chicken. It's also how you get Japanese curry, right? You have Indian indentured servants, migrants, or immigrants, depending on where they are in the world, and they bring that curry powder. And them Jamaican people got on that curry powder. I said, "Oh, we gonna flip this with the goat,
Give it to me.
and with the chicken, right? Shout out to them because I've been going crazy on the curry chicken. Them Jamaican people,
That's
my God,
favorite Jamaican dish is curry chicken.
curry chicken,
I would like some right now.
go crazy.
Go, we go
Josh.
get it. Let's go get it.
I love Jamaican food. But anyway, I said first, let me be honest. I don't think people understand. She's absolutely right about the joke of American education system. I don't think people understand that as a child of an American, I don't know, I'm curious if you guys feel differently. I barely learned about US history that much in school. I learned about Washington State history in high school, but I never learned about Caribbean history. So she was like, well, you should pick up a book. And I'm like, I took all my high school classes and I learned more about history, African-American history in college than I ever learned in high school. Truth about slavery. It's the first time I started reading books from slaves and firsthand accounts and then stories, where they dictated and stuff like that. But I didn't learn Caribbean history. That wasn't a class that was offered. And I'm the type.
Yeah.
If Caribbean History 101 was available, I would have taken it. But I think all I want to say is I don't think it's that odd that a Black American might not know about Indo-Caribbeans in Trinidad. Now, there's a high population of Indo-Caribbean people in Trinidad. Of the Caribbean islands, I was reading that Trinidad has the highest population
of
Indo-Caribbean. So it makes sense. And they also exist in New York and Queens and things like that as well. But again, I think people overestimate how much people learn, what they learn about, and how much they travel.
I think that statement that she made is ludicrous. I'm looking up something right now. I think because the U.S. is a country, honestly, and not a continent, people don't really realize how large the United States is. And we're having to learn United States is to give you all a understanding, the United States is not much smaller than all of Europe.
If you put the United States in Europe, it would go from like Italy through almost to Asia.
Yes.
Through Russia.
United States is ginormous. So learning just U.S. history is like learning about an entire continent.
Yes.
So yes. And then we do have some world history. Now, obviously, due to white supremacy, we don't focus on those that have more of the black diaspora. So in that way, I understand being like, well, how don't y'all know? Well,
because the education system don't want us to know that.
Listen, we over here having to learn about the white people that came over here and pillaged this land.
Yes.
We got to learn about Europe. Then we're gonna learn about that big China. They're gonna teach us about the China.
Absolutely.
We're gonna learn a little bit about the Russia.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna learn not a damn thing about Africa, okay?
Nothing.
So you know we ain't about to learn about a small but very prideful and cultural filled island.
And then you add capitalism on, because I was like, Kevin, why didn't you learn? Why didn't you pick up a book? Because after you finish school, you got to go to work.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick up the history of a Caribbean island. Like, but why you throw shots at us? And here's my part about it. I would not expect a Caribbean person who lives in the Caribbean, or like a person who lives in England, to know about the Great Migration. Why most black people from Chicago have ties to Mississippi or Alabama, and like their people's going from Alabama to Watts. Like, I would not expect you, and I wouldn't be like, that joke of the English system didn't teach you why people from Mississippi live in Chicago now. I wouldn't expect them to teach you that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. I am still learning about the diaspora that is in the United States. And I'm not even talking about the Caribbean people who have now moved here, or the African people who have now moved here. I'm talking about U.S. history, enslaved black people, or people who came during the period where slavery was still legal. I'm realizing just how different South Carolina is from North Carolina.
Geechee Gullah culture in South Carolina.
It's so different than North Carolina culture.
And they right here.
Yes.
And they might as well be on opposite sides of the world.
Correct.
I be telling people, if you can fly from New York to London. It's a 6-hour flight. New York to Los Angeles is also a 6-hour flight.
Yes.
New York to Hawaii would be a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
That's still the United States. That's how big it is. If you go from New York to Hawaii, the amount of time zones you pass through is the same as if you go from Hawaii to London. It's like a 6-hour time difference, 8-hour time difference. So, and nigga, let me tell you, in this, I would consider myself unique in this sense. I went to college, and I specifically, the major I was chasing allowed me to take a lot of classes in history and sociology. If you were an engineer, you might not have or any other major. You might not have the time to learn about African-American history. That was my interest, and that was also on my major path. Mm-hmm. You might not have that ability. The K through 12, you can forget about it.
Yeah.
They still teaching us slavery wasn't really that bad. We was believing that the doggone I didn't learn the Native Americans and the Pilgrims
weren't friends
until college. When I was a kid, I drew my little hand out and I made a turkey thing. They shook hands. Yeah. Then I went to college. I said, murder?
They scalped the people.
Genocide?
Yeah.
Smallpox. Christopher Columbus was a genocidal maniac.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me that. I thought they was hugging. Mm-mm. Yeah, they was covering you in a smallpox blanket.
Thanksgiving.
Josh, rape, pillage.
Man.
So again, if you don't go to college and seek that out, and going to college ain't necessarily able are available to a lot of Black Americans. And this is not like I didn't have the money. I didn't have my parents didn't have the money. I was able to get loans, but that ain't everybody.
My thing is if I were to ask that same that same person who made the comment, tell me the difference between a person who lives in Nashville, Black person who lives in Nashville versus a Black person that lives in Mississippi. They would not be able to name a one. Case in point, the audition that I booked, I assumed based off of the context clues I was given from the script that the person was from Nashville, right? Mm-hmm. Which was wrong. The person's from Mississippi. But let me tell you how that was so important. And I'm mad that I mean, luckily I booked the job, but I'm mad that I didn't get it right.
Angel.
Big old. I had the option of 3 different accents based off of the person being from Tennessee. You got the one that matches Louisville where they say her, cure, like what you doing over there?
Yep.
Right? Then you have Memphis that don't sound like Nashville.
No, and still in Tennessee. Opposite sides of Tennessee, but still in Tennessee.
Still in Tennessee, you got the Glorilla with music. Yep. You got random sounds that don't seem to belong where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Then you have the traditional Southern, where if sometimes people want you to use that if you're talking about hospitality, but it's not the same as her, thir, or music. That is within a 3 to 6 hour drive.
Yes.
All that difference just happened in dialect. And I bet you, if I were to do all 3 accents for that person, I'd say, you put it in the right place. Tell me what goes to where.
They would not know.
They'd be like, huh?
And listen, what? Angel, let me tell you what. 2 things I want to say. 3 things, actually. 1, an American, English-speaking American like us, when we do an English accent, I'm just throwing it out there, right? I'm just doing what I heard on TV. People from Manchester do not sound like people from Birmingham, who don't sound like people from London, proper London, South London, Leeds. Like there's Cockney. I don't hear none of that. I'm not an accenter. I ain't no specialist. People from England, they could tell, oh, you from Liverpool. Like the Beatles, I believe.
From Ends.
Yeah. Liverpool don't sound like, but to American untrained ears, I can't hear that difference, right? Let's go back to slavery. I was born in Texas, okay? Was never taught about Juneteenth. Not in school. Oh, wow. My family didn't know. I learned about Juneteenth in college. Juneteenth is a holiday that started in Texas.
Right.
El Paso is 8 hours from Houston. And I think Juneteenth, if I'm not mistaken, don't beat me up, I think it was like Galveston area.
I was about to say, I thought it was Galveston.
Yeah, Galveston, which is kind of near Houston. I'm a Black American in Black America, curious about Black American history, and didn't learn about Juneteenth. And it was in my state. Texas is a state that could take you doggone maybe 16 hours if you drove across from El Paso to Shreveport, which I believe is one of the first cities in Louisiana. 16-hour drive, and that's one state, right? So I just think it's a little, and let's also add this, if we're being honest, America might be the snobbiest, most America first, who cares about everybody else, America only. Yeah. We don't be knowing nothing. We not curious. And we sure don't know nothing about no doggone geography. More than anything. I was talking to Tamara about this on the road. And xenophobic. Yes, Nisha. Tam was telling me she can tell she's Caribbean. She's from Jamaica. And I think her dad's from Guyana. She can tell if you have a Trini accent, a Jamaican accent, a Bajan accent, a Bahamian accent. I said, now what? Well, she was there. Well, these are my people.
But you can do the same thing with American accents, sir. Why are you?
No. I understand that. Yeah. Like I know that for sure. That's why it's always funny when you have, quick aside, something that pisses me off. When you take Black slang, AAVE, and it becomes Gen Z slang, and they saying stuff, something from New York, something from Oakland, something from Georgia. You just picking stuff.
Yeah.
As a Black person, there's certain things I don't say because it don't sound right. Like, because I'm not from Atlanta, I can't say twin. I can't.
You say all the things. You're lying. You actually say
but
it
I be playing.
just to cringe.
But I would never be like, that's Cap, twin. What you talking about, twin? That's Atlanta.
You should,
people.
though. I love it.
When my nieces and nephews are like, what's up, twin? What you talking about, twin? Twin. They'd be like, uncle, please stop.
Yeah.
Right? But I expect, and it makes sense that Tamara knows about cultures that she grew up around and she understands. My thing is, why it always come negative to the Black Americans?
Because
now, go ahead.
Because other blacks think they're better than us, while America as a whole thinks they're better. When it comes to black folk that got to hold on a little bit stronger to their ancestral identity,
yes,
they look at us like ignorant fools that have no culture and no knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it all the time because they other us so bad.
Yeah.
I be like, but you over here with us now. Now stop it. Because if the police get to shooting, they shooting us both the same. It don't matter if you got curry chicken or not. We both about to be dead. Now stop being mean to me.
Now let's not let the man divide us. We need to come together. And listen, I ain't gonna hold you. If I'm being honest, a lot of times Black Americans, we come across crazy on the timeline.
Oh yeah, no, somebody said whispers. It goes both ways. Now see,
it goes.
I believe you.
I'm speaking for myself,
yes,
and I'm putting that out to the world. But I be seeing some stuff, and we be coming across crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. That part is true. That part is fair. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it was an unsolicited shot.
I feel like we get shot all the time now, and I believe you when you say other people, Americans be saying things. But I'm sorry, y'all be, in my opinion, y'all be louder. You stupid, you stupid. That's why you got that white ass name from your white slave
and you don't
master.
know where you came from,
right?
Well, nigga, 5-6 generations. We're from America. Yes. Slavery tends to have that impact on people when you doggone steal people from the place in America and in Africa, yes, and then you rob them of all their language, cultural history, morals. You believe you. Sometimes you won't know what part. If it was 6-7 generations ago.
I don't know.
Doggone, my great grandpa was from El Paso. The mother niggas from Ohio.
I don't know. 7
generations back is America. America. Slavery.
And it don't happen when it don't help when I do my damn ancestry DNA. They like, yeah, you got all that shit, and then a little bit of shiver me timber over here too. It's like I don't know what you want from me, but I want to be friends, okay? That's what I'm saying. I don't know a lot about you. You don't know a lot about me.
Let's come together.
Yeah.
Come together and hug, man. Teach me about that Indo-Caribbean. Because I'm genuinely curious. But when you talk like that, I said, well, now I don't want to learn.
That Kadeen is a little bit of that Indo-Caribbean. That's why she looked that way.
Is she?
Yeah.
I thought she was just Jamaican.
But no, because you remember when, what's that woman?
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
She's Indo-Caribbean.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's when I
realized. She?
Well, she
her daddy was Indian.
Yeah, she a mixture of her mama.
Her mama was Indian?
Yeah,
her dad was Jamaican.
Correct. So she in a different type of mixture. But Kadeen, I remember making a post, and I said, "That's why your hair come out your head like that."
You seen them kissing on Instagram
when she was on top of it? I said they fucking on the ground.
I don't know. Y'all kissing like this.
It was not the kiss. It was y'all are having sex for us on the ground.
Somebody said I watched it. I watched hours of it.
And DeVal trying to have this meaningful caption. Nigga, we want to see it. Move the camera. He talking about what I want to make my wife feel love. No, that's not what you're trying to make her feel.
You got y'all. Listen, there been some beautiful niggas. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't want to see myself kiss. I don't think people will watch my video the same. I'd be like, doo-doo. Kissing. I can't do it.
I said, wait a minute. That's her cheeks. And this is
that was you on that.
Yes, that's what I looked like in the Disney World.
The dark and the light.
Yeah, the dark and the light was show. I said, oh no, and they had the nerve to look in the camera to make sure it was still.
Don't look at me.
To make sure it was angled on them.
I feel like y'all look inside my body. You look at my soul. Don't look at me. Y'all broke the fourth wall.
They did a couple of times. Let me angle the camera. Well, if you're gonna show it all, stop teasing us. DeVal and Kadeen, stop it. They was having the sex. I said, that was. You said, did you see them kissing? That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw.
I said, there was some beautiful people, man. Them niggas are gorgeous. Each individual.
Uh-huh.
That's why I be like, man, I got to be in the gym because I'm not holding up my end yet. But y'all let me keep eating these doggone protein yogurts and
You gonna get it
and
together.
then I'm gonna be on the gram kissing.
And that was with no filter. She didn't even have on makeup.
Just
Me and Marcus would have both looked like fairies. That's how heavy the filter would have been. My eyes would be as big as fucking Coke bottle cans. Marcus have on eyeliner with the filter I'm using, yes. I want us to look pretty for y'all if we're going to show you how we get down, okay? I want us to look real nice. But they was having the sex on there.
Oh,
That wasn't
my
just
God.
kissing. We've seen them kiss before. He was like, I'm going to show you how I have sex with my wife because I want her to feel felt and loved.
oh my God.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
All right.
But yes, I am actually obsessed with learning about cultures that are different than mine, especially within the Black diaspora. But I will say Caribbean islands, that'll probably not be up first on my list just because I'm realizing how people grow up Black in LA looks so different than how I grew up Black in Kentucky.
1,000%.
Like the fact that Compton had and has a lot of farmland. That's not something that I would know. And the fact that Black folk are still on
Just found that out this moment.
Yeah.
Found out about Compton Cowboys.
Yes.
Because of All Deaf. Found out Altadena was a historically Black neighborhood when it burned.
Oh, you didn't know that before?
No.
Yes.
I don't go to Altadena.
A lot. I think like 82% of the Black people that lived in Altadena were homeowners.
Yes. I didn't know that, but I don't go to Altadena that much.
Right.
I never lived over there.
Well,
you know
I
what
knew
I'm
it was
saying?
hella Black, but I didn't understand.
I didn't even know it was hella Black.
Oh yeah, I've been over there, and I was like, oh, Black people, but I didn't understand like the history behind until the fires, the history behind the city itself. But there's so much history within our own. While yes, in a nationalist way, we are all the same, but because this because this country is so big, we are even in our country not living the same experience.
No, it's how you see the world, what you have access to, what you have interest in. Like I enjoy traveling, I enjoy museums and history. That's not everybody. They can have the same means as I do, but not the same interests.
Oh, nigga, I went to the International African American Museum in South Carolina. Have you been?
I have not been yet. That's the newer one.
Oh yes, Kevin.
I want to go.
You gonna have a good to your toesies is just gonna be happy.
Is it got good placards in there?
The best.
They got the audio walk along.
Well, no. See, I got a tour from the actual.
Even
executive
better.
director.
Oh, that's what I need.
Oh, Kevin, you would love it.
That's been on my list. My dad went down there one day. He told me, and I said, "This is what I wish I lived in the South." They went down there to that museum, walked around, had lunch, and then just came back. And I said, "Man, I wish
that's
I could."
your whole life, right
Joshua,
there, man.
do you realize how happy I would have been if I could drive down and go to the museum?
You'd have a membership at the
Yes!
museum.
It was good.
I want to go read it in a different order now.
No,
I want to
I
go
mean,
right
Kevin-
to left, and this time I want to go left to right.
You would have. There was this one part of the museum that I loved so much, and it made me so mad. But it was nice because it's such Black. I'm talking about Black American history, and it's called International, so they hit way more of the diaspora.
Yeah.
Anyways, they had these quilts hanging up in their art gallery that actually changes out, I think, every quarter. And the quilts look like the quilts that my great grandmother made. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the fact that quilts that look like this are in a museum.
Yeah.
Where to me it was just, these are the
Absolutely.
quilts that my great grandmother made.
1000%.
I didn't realize that these were attached to an actual cultural experience for Black people.
Yes.
It's just an amazing time. I'm just saying.
that. And I'm not gonna let that one person's frustration stop me. I want to learn more about Caribbean history.
Oh, we gonna learn that too.
Yes, that day that people from the Caribbean islands, you can call them Caribbean people, West Indies, people from or West Indian. A lot of them don't like Caribbeans. They don't want you to put that S on there.
Caribbean.
They don't want to.
Okay, I wasn't hearing what the difference is.
Yeah, they don't want you to be the
so
Caribbeans.
why?
I don't know. I couldn't source the thing, but then I thought, as part of Black American, we add a phantom S where it don't exist. Nordstrom's, Kmart's.
We do it to people
Costco's,
too.
yes.
Jews, Blacks, whites.
Yes, we throw an S where it often doesn't belong. So that's part of a Black American culture a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and also last thing, I was watching a dating show that was based in South Africa. I can't remember the name of it, but I realized that South African people often are polyglots because they would go from English to 6-7 different languages and it was all of them. So what I did? I did some research. I said, why are people from South Africa, black people, speak so many languages? And they be having I think it was like Swahili was one.
Swahili. I love it.
There's a couple other ones. Zimbabwe. This one person was speaking Zimbabwean. They be knowing 5-6 different languages. And I said, that's very interesting to me. So I was curious, and I'm still gonna be curious. Yes. How do you pronounce that? XHOSA. Zulu was another one.
Zosa?
Yes.
Is it Zosa? Or is that XH glottal click? Like Kosa.
What is it? Not South African people? Is it South African?
Kosa. Click in the front. Kosa.
Kosa. Somebody said Shosa. It's a click.
So it's not a glottal, but it's a front. Kosa.
Click Hosa? Oh,
I did it right. Kosa.
Yeah.
Love that.
See, Portia said my mom's Zimbabwean and she speaks 7 languages. And that's not uncommon at all. And they was just weaving in between 6-7 languages per sentence.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I really feel like
amazing
when a lot of black people, and when I say black people, I'm not meaning black Americans, I mean black people at large. A lot of black people, due to whether or not they were where they were from were colonized, or if they were kidnapped and dropped off somewhere else, their culture was purposefully like taken and stripped from them. Yeah. But I feel like the further you get away from the U.S., the more you find that the independence that country celebrates as a black people, I feel like either happened sooner or it happened not as in a real way. Like, even though we were considered free at a certain time, we were still under strong oppression in a way of like, you still want to be us, meaning white. You still want to be us. Yeah. So shed all the rest of that. So when I look at other cultures and their closeness to their lineage and their closeness to the languages that their forefathers spoke, I realize, we didn't stand a chance, is what I'm saying. The Gullah people, the reason why I learned at the museum, the reason why I feel like, one, they sound different than most people in the South. Their accent is more akin to New Orleans people more than the other people in the South east of the country. Yep. Is because the Gullah, where they were being enslaved, a lot of times master wouldn't come over there because it was far. Yeah. So it was just like, do the work, make us the money, and do. Yeah. So they were able to preserve a lot of their language. They were able to preserve a lot of their culture. That's why they sound differently than a lot of the people in other southern states.
Interesting.
Because the white man and master was over the back of the people in South Carolina. Like, we see you. Shut the hell up. Whatever the hell y'all saying that I don't understand, stop saying it. Where in Geechee Gullah, they were able to still communicate. They had that,
yes.
Because of the distance between where the master's house was and where they were stationed and worked at.
1,000%. Look at that. And a lot of times it's so, I'd be so happy for both African and Caribbean people living in different parts from Africa, like Britain or America, and they still have a lot of their cultural norms. Like going to a Nigerian wedding, I said, man, this is beautiful. Y'all got all the stuff I had never seen. I've only been to a few weddings anyway, only one Nigerian wedding, and you could see a lot of their culture expressed in their weddings. That some cultural norms in the wedding do not happen in American weddings, black or otherwise. So it was amazing to me. I want to talk about one more thing before we gotta go.
Okay.
This track girl. that was
beat
running.
that girl upside the head.
Somebody in the Patreon said Batanya Harding.
I saw that and I said that was pretty
y'all.
clever.
Jessica Williams. Batanya Harding.
That was clever.
That I said, now I saw that video going viral and I said, well, this is crazy. She smacked that girl in the head with a baton because she ran past her. And then I seen, the first thing I saw was the girl who got hit saying she had a skull fracture and a concussion. I said, this is terrible. This is crazy. And then I seen the girl
crying and saying she didn't do it on purpose. She said, I'm a human.
Angel, now tell me what you saw.
I saw a girl swang a baton. Swang a baton and cracked the shit out of a girl. But I also am like, okay, is this, I think of a couple of things. I'm like, is this repetitive behavior? Has she been known to like,
Yeah.
And like, honestly, like if it was a mistake, then like, you know, you own to the mistake and apologize. But the girl who got hit said, I ain't heard no apology from this girl.
Oh, really?
That's what I had read, that she had not gotten an apology from her. That like, because while it looked insane, it was like, why? I also was like, what was she, like, I think of things like, what do you gain from that? You're disqualified. Mm-hmm. You still don't win.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then you probably ain't going to be able to run no time soon.
No more.
So
Maybe it's just pure frustration and anger, lashing out.
Yeah, all those things could definitely happen. But
And I could see an accident. This is my accident possibility. I don't know if you saw this black man who was running, his knee gave out. If you experience some sort of injury and you fail and you flail.
Yeah.
But the way she had the baton, it looked like, and then flail. Mm-hmm. It didn't look like, like if she would have tripped or fell or been bumped and like hit her that way, but it looked like, it was a very unnatural motion to happen during a race.
It is.
When you're racing, you're here. You're pump, unless you're grabbing the baton. You don't usually bring the baton above your head for any reason.
That's why I'm like, is this, when I say repetitive behavior, like, does this baby have anger issues? Mm-hmm. Does this baby maybe she ain't beat anybody on the track like that before, but does she lash out a lot? Because those are the things that I would look at to find out if somebody is lying about whether or not they did it on purpose. So initially I thought, well, this could not, even though it looked like, girl, you just beat that girl's head in. I initially thought this has to be an accident because why would you do that?
Beat that girl's head in. That girl's head in. Why you did that?
Because they in lane 1. They not in lane, lane 5? What's the middle lane? Okay.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. That's the lane that you usually like, one of these people is probably about
I'm
to
going to beat your head in now.
Yes.
I'm going to beat your head in.
You lane 1, so we're not expecting you to probably win this. That's not, so ain't no need to be upset. You at least in the race.
Well, was it a 4x4? Because I think they were all in lane 1 at that point.
She hit her.
Was it 4x4 or
It
400?
Was it a 4x4, y'all? Because she was passing her on the outside of the two. Yeah, you're right. I just was, the girl was crying profusely when she was talked about that it was a mistake.
Yeah.
But when I heard that she hadn't apologized, I said, no, baby, that would have been the first thing.
Now, people want her in jail. I said, okay, now, hey.
Is that something?
I don't know if that's a jailable thing.
I don't know. And also the fact that she ran off the track with the girl.
Yeah.
And like went over to her made me think, okay, maybe it was a mistake. She didn't continue to bust her upside. Those are, you know what I'm saying? She didn't continue to beat this girl like a piñata. Because that's what it was, a good piñata swing at the first. I said, now what was going on? Because in that type of anger, I would have busted and kept running. You're going to have to catch me.
You run like Forrest Gump just ran out of the stadium.
You're going to have to catch me. I just hit you. It's unfortunate. Nobody thinks that, like, track is not a violent sport. It's a no-contact sport, actually.
Most of the time, I mean, we talking about this in my family chat, and one of my homeboys put a different angle, and he's like, y'all, you could tell it's from an accident here. It was like, bro, it looked like she hit her on purpose from a different angle. It did not ever look like she did not do what she was meaning to do. She might have been like, I don't know why I did that, but it didn't look like she had lost control.
Now, I will say the one thing that also made me think, oh, this is an accident, it didn't look like she was looking at the girl when she started the swing.
That's true. Yeah.
It did not look like she was like, yeah, oh, here you come. It didn't. I didn't see that. I saw her hand go up before the girl got anywhere near in front of her, and once it did, it came down.
Here you go.
Yeah,
I got you now.
yeah, I'm about to bust you wide
Oh
open.
my God.
Knock the Mario coins up out of you. That's what it. I felt bad for the girl who was attacked. Cause again, this is not a contact sport. When you in football, you think, hey, I might get hurt.
Yeah.
You think there's a chance that I'm
Yes.
gonna have to see the medic after this. In track, the most you think might happen is you might pull a muscle.
That's the hurt you get from running. It's rarely inflicted upon you from an opponent.
It is self-inflicted because you done did something too fast, too wrong,
or
too strong.
without warming up.
That's when in my track and field days, which are still here, I too think, hey, maybe slow us down. Maybe not go as fast.
Oh my God.
But hopefully the young lady with the concussion recovers okay with her fracture. And if the girl really did not do it on purpose, I hope she gives the young lady a sincere apology.
Yes.
And explains, what the hell were you doing, baby?
What the hell was you doing, man? Hell going on?
They said she did it twice. When did she?
She hit her twice. Now I ain't see that like that.
Did she do it twice?
Anyway. All right. God bless y'all. We got to go. We've been here about almost 3 hours. God bless you. God keep you. We will see you next Tuesday. Goodbye.
Here's another banger for you. Here's another one. Yeah. Here's another banger for you. Here's another one. Yeah. Here's another banger for you. Here's another banger for you. With my boy Kev on stage. And that chick Angel.